Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Power of Man podcast. My name is Rory Paquette, and I am, as always, your humble, gracious, and grateful host. So happy that you could be here today, really and truly. Please pardon my voice. I'm a little bit hoarse. Once again, the weather in Indiana has decided to play Russian roulette with everybody's everybody's allergies. So, 60 degrees one day and 3 inches of snow the next. But hey, who's counting? This is episode 91. 91. 91 episodes, 26 countries, just jamming away and having a great time while we're growing. So I want to thank all you guys for being here today. I want to start by just saying, hey, if any of you guys are trying to contact us or you want to make some comments or open a discussion, please feel free at any time to jump into our Instagram. And that is at Power of Man Podcast, all one word, at Power of Man Podcast, all one word. Recently, we've had some pretenders show up with power underscore blah, 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 power dot man dot, yada, yada. Look, that's not us. Okay, we have the one account, and then the backup, of course, is my personal one, at Rory Paquette, all one word. So please make sure you're talking to us when you see it. So, wanted to talk about a couple things today. And before we do that, well, we are going to have to take a sip of our preferred beverage. So helping a little bit, but wow, voice is pretty much shot today. Sorry, everybody. Trying. And there's, if you're a friend of the program, you know what we're drinking. That's right. It's Freedom Hill coffee. And we do love Freedom Hill coffee. Deep, dark, rich, bold, beautiful, succulent, over the top, all of the things that make you want to just say, oh, I love my life, just like Mrs. Powerman. And it's a great company that does all the right things for all the right reasons. They help veterans, and that's why I support them. You can find them on Instagram at Freedom Hill Coffee, all one word, at Freedom Hill Coffee. Go check them out. All right, a little plug and some more of the beverage. There we go. I wanted to drop a quick note today. We have a slew of interviews coming up, which are just gonna be great. I can't wait for you guys to hear these and for us to, get them done and polished and put out. But we've got some really interesting men coming up. We're doing a little bit of a focus on men's mental health, things like that. And as always, we're going to have, some guys on here talking about entrepreneurship, and it's going to be great. So we got some more masculinity, themes coming up too. We've had a lot of folks who have kind of asked us those questions here recently, especially since we started the Power of Man Search for Faith, which has been a very successful spinoff. That is on our IG account, again, at Power of Man Podcast, all one word. And that airs Wednesday evenings at 8 o'clock Eastern. And that's a live. It's an Instagram live. And we have people join us and, ask questions or make comments. And we also read a little bit from the Bible and, talk about that kind of thing. So I think some of it might have been, in regards to that and the way that's been growing. But we've had a lot of people asking us, you don't seem like the typical masculinity podcast. Why is that? And, the best answer that I can give anybody is there are some really, really good podcasts out there that are just focused on masculinity alone. Masculinity, there we go, alone. And that was never our purpose here. The purpose for Moment One has been to help fathers and husbands to become better men tomorrow than they are today, to help husbands and fathers get back in touch with their inner power, that power that they're born with, that power that's always there. We want to help them turn it back on, stoke the flames a little bit so that they can find it, so they can do what they need to do and rise up. And that's been our focus since Moment One. Now, is masculinity a part of that? Well, of course it is. We're not trying to be better fathers and husbands without trying to be better men. And so it is an issue. There's a lot of men that are having trouble being fathers and husbands because they've blocked their masculinity or stunted it, or they've taken on the idea that it's somehow evil or wrong to be a masculine man in today's world. And so they've become overly sensitive. overly beta, and they're not leading their families. They're not leading their marriages. And when that happens, bad things follow. So, yes, masculinity is a part of it. Being a man is a part of what we do here. I'm not going to lie about it, but it's not the only thing that we do here. And it's not the entire focus. So I hope that answers some of those questions that we've gotten on our Instagram DMs. And, we'll move forward from there. So I mentioned the Power Man Search for Faith. I hope you guys will all join us Wednesday evenings, 8 o'clock. And then for any of you who want to take a deeper dive and want to find out more about your own power, your own masculinity, how to maybe get some of that back, how to feel powerful for the first time in a long time, how to take control of your life, how to lead your family, how to lead your children. We have a private brotherhood group, and that's a Facebook group. The link is always in our show notes. And I encourage any of you who would like to find out more about it to click the link, take a look at it. And, if you want to join, fill out the application. And we'd love to talk to you. So it's not open to everyone. It's something you have to qualify for. So I hope that you guys will take a look at it, and if it's something that you want help with, something that you think you can benefit from, by all means, check it out. For today, and with what I wanted to talk about today, an issue that I've been confronted with recently, and some things that I've had to, really overcome, has been dealing with my past. And most of you know my story at this point. Rose up from nothing, built myself up high, lost everything, came back. Here we are today. So that's it in a nutshell. But there were a lot of things that happened in my past that I'm not proud of. There's a lot of mistakes that I made. A lot of people that got hurt, unintentionally. And I'm not going to lie, some intentionally. That's how life goes. But, at the beginning and end of it all, my main concern was taking care of my wife and my kids. And at the end of the day, that was it. That was all I cared about. And what that does is it blazes a very specific trail. It leaves you with a lot of fires that have burned things down. You burn a lot of bridges. It leaves you with a lot of scars. And I've said this before, those scars still hurt when the wind blows through them. A lot of us have issues like this with things from our past. And it doesn't matter if it's stuff that we've done or stuff that has been done to us, issues we've had with parents, with siblings, with society, with family, with friends. What it comes down to is we don't feel like we deserve to be happy. We don't feel like we deserve success. That's reserved for somebody else, always has been. We don't feel like we deserve to have the good things in life. And so we end up self-sabotaging. We end up becoming our own worst enemies. Gentlemen, we all have a past of some kind. We all have conflicts that we wish we'd handled differently. We all have moments where people got hurt and we wish that we could go back and maybe change it. We all live with some sort of a regret. When you're going through it the first time, you feel like you're the only one who's ever lived with regret or remorse. The fact of the matter is, and I'm here to tell you, guys, every single one of us lives with a degree of that. And honestly, that's okay. I have yet to meet the man that can look me in the eye and say, I am proud of every single thing I have ever done in my entire life. When I do meet that man, I'm probably dead because I'm probably talking to God. Nobody is perfect. No one on this ethereal plane is perfect, no matter how much we'd like to act like we are or aspire to be. So at some point, we have to actually accept the fact that we've made mistakes. Guys, we screwed up. You would think that that would be an easy enough thing to sell. You'd think that'd be an easy enough thing for us all to go do. The problem is that it's really not. We as men, as fathers and husbands, we are very, 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 very good at using our remorse from our past to stand in our way, to prevent us from rising up, to prevent us from, becoming the kings we should be, to prevent us from feeling worthy of happiness, of love, of accomplishment, of success. We have a real knack for taking our failures in the past and beating ourselves over the head with them, don't we? Think about that. When's the last time you thought about something that happened in the past and you beat the crap out of yourself with it? Well, I don't deserve this. I never should have done that. Gosh, I feel terrible about this. If only I could change that. Guys, we do it every day. Every day. And we don't even realize when we're doing it. I caught myself the other day. I like to talk to myself a lot. Maybe I'm going crazy, but I like to talk to myself a lot. And so, I'm sitting in my truck and I'm having a conversation. And I ended up somehow reliving some old argument that I had with somebody who used to work for me. And I'm just now thinking of much better answers and much better comebacks and things like that for the argument. And I end up saying it out loud, and sort of having the argument by myself in a revised version where I actually feel better about it. And I realized about halfway through this little exercise what I was doing. And I said, why are you fighting a fight that you're never, ever going to get to fight again, that has been over for years, that you clearly lost? And I'm like, well, there's your answer. It's because I lost. And then that made me think, I wonder if that is at the core. Maybe that's the reason, that's the cause, for why we have such a hard time letting go of the past. When we've had failures in the past, we lost. And men hate to lose. We especially hate to lose when we don't have a chance for a rematch. I mean, we grew up thinking that, look, if you lose, you lose. But then, you challenge Clubber Lang and you train with Apollo Creed and you get a rematch. And then you go win. That's what you do. You go 15 rounds with Apollo Creed. He gets all mad. You both get out of the hospital. You get a rematch. And you knock him down. That's how life works, right? It's not how life works. We very rarely get justice. We very rarely get retribution. Once you've lost that thing, it's probably gone. It's probably lost. And we have to find a way to move on from it. But we don't. We hang on to it. And we use it to beat ourselves with so that we can't turn the next corner. Guys, this albatross around our necks is massive. Absolutely massive. I have needed to make several changes, adjustments in my business. And there have been two or three things I've sort of avoided doing. I didn't even realize till recently I was avoiding doing them. And then all of a sudden, not only do I realize that and I realize all this other stuff, but I also realize I'm doing it to myself. I'm beating myself up. And I'm like, why are you doing this? And at the end of the day, it's because I'm beating myself up for old mistakes that I haven't been able to let go of yet. Now, look, personal accountability is a rare thing these days. You want to take personal accountability. You want to say, hey, this was my mistake. I got to own this. But you do that so that you can process it and be done with it. You do that so you can cut it the hell loose, not so you can tie it to your wrist and beat yourself up with it. Take a minute, guys, and think about the things in your past that you're not proud of. As soon as you start to think of those things, as soon as you say, all right, let me think. The first few things that flood to your mind, those are going to be the biggest. Those are the ones that are right there, top of mind, that you beat yourself up about without even knowing it on a regular basis. Take note. Take note of those things. These are the things that I have to make sure that I'm cutting loose. And then, guys, cut them the hell loose. There's a bunch of different ways to cut things loose. We've talked about self-talk, in the past. We've talked about forward motion. One of the first things that you need to do is take action. Take action on the thing that's slowing you down. If you're trying to build a side hustle, for instance, and every time you try to do it, you get bogged down, you beat yourself up, you question whether or not you really can do it, you don't feel confident. Look, all of that is old tapes in your head. All of that is old talk, old speak, coming back to beat you up. Take action on the new thing. See, when you take action on whatever the new thing is and you start moving forward, it gets a lot easier to let go of the stuff that's behind you. I really hope you guys will think about that. Another way to look at this is say, hey, as long as I'm beating myself up with this other stuff, as long as I can't cut loose of my old failures, I cannot grow. As long as I'm dragging that piano behind me, my hands are tied. I can't reach forward and pick up something new. So as long as I've got that thing weighing me down, as long as I can't cut it loose, as long as I can't put it down, I can't pick anything else up. If you can't pick up a new thing, if you can't go down a new path, then you're going to fall right into the Groundhog Day scenario, where if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. It's right where you're going to be. And finally, you need to understand that you have to forgive yourself. I know that sounds like, pie in the sky, piece of cake, real easy. Okay, I forgive myself. I'm forgiven. Everybody's great now, right? Let's go sing Kumbaya on the streets. I had to literally say the words out loud. I forgive myself. I'm cutting this loose. This does not serve me. It does not serve my family. It does not serve my purpose. When you say that enough, you start to believe it. And when you believe it, you can actually accomplish it. You can actually do it. You can make it happen. Until we start blazing new trails, until we start making new habits, until we start, building new bridges, we're always going to be weighed down by the old. I think we've been weighed down enough, don't you? Guys, stop punishing yourselves. God forgives you for the stupid things you did. Okay? God forgives you. If you don't believe it, if you don't feel that way, ask for forgiveness. Say, God, please grant me forgiveness for my sins, for all the stupid things I've done. God, please help me cut this loose. And He will. He will help you. Guys, you got to cut it the hell loose. We all have a past, gentlemen. We all have a past. We all have a body count of some kind. You can either carry that with you into the future and let it drag you down for the rest of your life, or you can cut it the hell loose. Start new things. Gather yourself up. Break new ground. Build a new bridge. The choice is yours, but you can't do both. I mean, I'm afraid that's just not possible. You cannot hang on to all the stuff weighing you down and branch off and do all kinds of new things to help grow. Those two things do not work hand in hand simultaneously. You got to pick one. And I'll bet what you'd like to do is cut loose the old and hang on to the new. Maybe you just don't know how to do it. So go back like I just did, retrace your steps, go through that stuff, and at the end of it, find a way to forgive yourself. And you have to say it out loud. Write it down on a note card and hang it in your mirror so that every morning you see it and it simply says, I forgive myself. When your brain sees that enough times and hears it enough times from you saying the words out loud, you will start to believe it. And then, my friends, you can move forward and start to do some real, honest to God work. Because you are worth it. You do matter. And as long as I have breath in me, I'm going to continue to remind you about that. And I'm going to make sure that you remember it. Find that inner power. Cut the past loose. And keep moving forward. Because you're worth it. You just got to believe it. Until next time.